embed, let's say, one or two researchers into the EPA, the USDA, the HHS, and so on. These embedded DOGE researchers would then go through the contracts. They would go through the payments being made to various subcontractors. They would look for discrepancies, such as, for instance, a project being finished years ago, but payments still being made for them, and so on. Then the embedded DOGE researchers would take their findings. They would give it to the head of the agency, like the head of the EPA and the head of the HHS and so on, and then the agency can choose whether or not to act on those findings. And what's been happening for the past 3 months now is that DOGE is finding a lot of what they refer to wasteful spending. And then the different departments of the government, they are actually cutting that spending based on DOGE's recommendations. In fact, according to the official tally, DOGE's efforts have saved the US taxpayers roughly $160 billion, which is equivalent to just under $1,000 saved for every US taxpayer. However, for a variety of reasons, most media have pretty much stopped devoting major coverage to DOGE's efforts. There was a lot of coverage at the beginning when you had a lot of people getting laid off, but recently, immigration has taken a lot of the oxygen out of the news cycle, and therefore, most people don't really know what DOGE has been up to recently. Therefore, today, I will give you a comprehensive update on what DOGE has been up to in the month of April. And before we dive into the actual details, there are two things I'd like to mention. The first one has to do with definitions. As we're going to be going through these different contracts that DOGE has been canceling, I will be bringing up two terms: the contract's ceiling value as well as the actual savings. And so the ceiling value is the highest amount of money that could have been spent on a given contract. So for instance, if you have a year-long contract that's $1,000 per month, the ceiling value for that contract is $12,000, the max that it could be. The savings, however, is the amount that the taxpayer actually saves if the contract is canceled. And so for instance, if you take that same contract and you cancel it after 3 months, the savings will be $9,000 because $3,000 has already been spent. You can't get that back. But by canceling it, you can save $9,000, which has yet to be spent. So that's the difference between ceiling value and the savings amount. That's the first thing. The second thing I'll mention is that we're only going to be going through the top line items that DOGE has canceled. We're not going to be doing a deep dive into each item because that would take a really long time to do. And having said that, there is a lot of nuance to the projects, initiatives, and contracts that DOGE is cutting. And while many people are thrilled with the amount of money that DOGE is saving, there are many other people who are not happy with DOGE at all, evidenced by the anti-Elon protests. As just one example, take the U.S. Institute of Peace. Based on DOGE's recommendation, it was recently shut down.